Hanji, welcome again to our channel, Spark Education. Make sure you go on the Spark Education website, click on the subscribe button for all the latest updates. And thanks again. In this video, we are going to discuss that in which programs you can easily apply for Canada permanent residence for work permit and how to find jobs in Canada, especially. So I am going right here. PNP requirements for outsider, which means provincial nominee program. That's the one I would suggest you if you never went to Canada, but you have some experience in some field. For example, you have 1 year experience, you have 2 year experience, you can apply through these. All right. So as I typed in PNP requirements for outsiders. As same as always, here is about the process. What is the process? So I'm going to about the process because we're going to discuss from the starting point, right? So fee is that much, 103 1365, right? About the process, this is the non-express entry application for the process for the provincial nominee program in two stages. First you're going to first you decide where you want to live in Canada and want to that excuse me, and apply to that province or territory for a nomination. They will review your application based on immigration needs and if you really plan to live there. That's the one if you are already in Canada. And the second one, after a provincial nominee program, you can apply to us for a permanent residency. We will assess your application based on the immigration law. These are the two stages of the application. And the processing time is 23 months. Who can apply? Uh, right. Let's read about the eligibility. What is the eligibility for this? Meet the minimum requirements of the province, the one you're going to apply for. I would say the easiest requirements to fill are only in the Atlantic areas, so I would only choose those. I wouldn't go for anything, for example, Manitoba and somewhere, or probably I would go if I have a strong experience, I have a set feedback, I have the references on the back set, then I would apply for it. But if I don't have a great experience and that I am not a degree or a university student or something, I wouldn't apply for any other province. I would go for only the Atlantic provinces because those are easy to fill the requirements. Be nominated under that stream. The second one is be nominated under that stream. If you don't have a nomination, you must follow the instruction on the website and contact them directly. Mm, You can the footnote is about the Quebec. Quebec is always different as always. For example, I'm going for Nova Scotia. What are the requirements I need if I go for Nova Scotia, if I want to apply for any employer under in Nova Scotia? Okay, Nova Scotia immigration, it says. Once you're ready to move to Newfoundland, you will, or Nova Scotia, you want to apply for Nova Scotia program NP stream. Through the NP stream, you have the skill experience through the targeted by Nova Scotia, may be nominated to immigrant. Review the different streams to determine if you qualify. For example, if I want to, here's the guide. So you can read that too as well if you want. For more information, offers information and support for new immigrants. You could go to their website and you could get more information. You can email them even if you are not a resident, if you are not in Canada, you haven't applied for Canada, you can still get the information on the emails. If you find those emails right here, if you go in, you will find some emails address or you can find some phone numbers. You may contact them or you can contact them if you want to. Labor market priorities for physician entrepreneurs, graduates, skilled worker. I would go skilled workers because these are the easiest one. As I said, we're going to talk about the requirements which are easy to fill. They say what are the requirements, what are the eligibility criteria for that. Have a full-time permanent job from a Nova Scotia employer, have 1 year experience related to the job, semi-skilled worker, be 21 to 55, have a high school diploma, have the appropriate training, arrest from the job, prove language ability. For that you would have to do the IELTS. You have to do, I think you need only CLB 4, so 4.5. Show enough financial resources to successfully settle in Nova Scotia. You have to show your funds. If someone else is moving with you, if someone else is trying to move in with you, for example your spouse, your kid, then you may have to show the financial um, resources for them too. You can check that right here too, and you can apply right here. Apply online, they say. Application guide, forms and policies. Okay, as I said, this is the email given right here, immigration@novascotia.ca. You can email them if you don't have enough information. You think you can email them and you can get the information. Position in all skilled level occupation must receive competitive wages for their industry as sector pay as per the Canada.express entry. Okay, this says application guide. Let me try this one. I haven't already searched for anything, so I'm doing everything in front of you so that we all can search but the information and you could have the proof, because you always want the proof for everything. So this is going to be the proof that I have never searched for anything like this, and I'm doing this all in front of you. Okay, gather the documents. The documents you need the IELTS, you need the job offer, you need the work experience, education and training. If you have any gap after education, you're gonna need education and training certificates related to the ability to communicate in English. That is also IELTS, or could be in other language, could be French if you're applying for Montreal. Documents about you and your family. Of course, you're gonna need the family information. Document related to your immigration status. What is your status in your country where you're applying from? Documents related to your move to Nova Scotia. Why are you moving? When are you moving? What's your funds? What's your status? The application process. Go to Nova Scotia, submit your application. You will either be nominated or refused. So this process is this is the starting process after you get your job offer from your employer, and you will either be nominated or be refused from the province. So what we're doing through this process, we're trying to find out the easiest process we can apply through and get the success to get nominated. So first of all, we have to apply to the employer. Once you find the employer, you go to novascotia.ca, and then you can apply your file to get nominated from your province. As we have states in India, they have the provinces. So you could apply for the province. As soon as province nominates you, approves your application to work with your employer in the Canada, then you have to apply for the work visa within the Canada to work in Canada. Right, so this is the starting step. This is a second step, I say, because the first one is to find employer, and to get the offer letter from the employer for 1 year, or that's valid for 2 years. Ask for a letter of support that will be get from the province you're going to apply for. Apply for permanent residence, and then tell us when you become a permanent resident. You can update that to IRCC. For employers, this is only for employers, so you won't have to read that out. For the applicant and the employer, and then thank you for choosing. Okay, so they already told us you could go to novascotia.ca. All right, let's go in novascotia.ca. These are the list of questions you have to answer in order to submit your application. You will either be nominated or be refused. This is when you find your employer. This is all after that. Okay, now the question is, how do I find a job in Canada? Wait, give me a minute. How do I find jobs in Canada Atlantic areas. As I said, I'm going only for Atlantic areas because those are easily being able to fill. You can easily show your eligibility criteria match the job you're applying for. Okay, so what I have done already, I have already signed up on Indeed properly, and and I search for the jobs. All right, in Atlantic Canada, these are the jobs. Uh, Let me show you one more thing, because I already have set up my location Canada. That's why I can get these easily, but I don't think it would be that easy for you. Just type in and find the jobs in Canada, because you have to find the job, you have to find the employers who support NLP and you have to find the employer who is already designated. You have to find a designated employer according to the requirements of IRCC, according to immigration requirements. Okay, just give me a minute. I'll go designated employers. All right, so here I typed in designated employers in Atlantic region. Right. For PNP. PNP. Okay. Atlantic Immigration Designated Employers. Here is my list. Okay. Okay. Here is my list. You could go to these. You could go to one of these and then you can email them your resume. That's how you contact your employer. That's how you talk to your employer. That's the only way to reach to employer. Or you could call them. You could buy some. There's some apps you could call them on. So you could try that. For example, if I go to the first one, copied it, and then I pasted it right here. A residence in Halifax. All right. Okay. So here is their phone number and here's their information. You could contact them on. Here's their website. On the website, you can get their link of their email and everything. You can get all the information about a company you need. Right? Or you could directly call them, and you may ask them if they support the NLP program, and if they be interested in you, they will reply you back. They will let you know if they're interested. Okay. So this was the easiest way I would tell you to get the designated employers list and then to apply for the jobs. Okay, there's a big list you can get. Oh, big list you can get right here. But only thing I would suggest, you don't have to give up. Sometime it don't work. You cannot make it work like it in once. You have to try and then try again. So don't give up. Make sure you keep trying because there is a big list, and I hope and pray that you get succeed in it. All right. So this is the whole big list for all the Atlantic employers who are designated already under the immigration laws, who have their business designated, who can hire employees from outside. This was the big list. Okay. Right. This was the first thing, that how to get how to get offer letter from an employer. So what you have to do, you have to search for an employer. You have to go on the website, send your resume with your photos, your reference and everything. Make sure you include a reference as well as your phone number. You can search the resumes, professional resumes online, and you can make that resume online, send that resume to your employer, include every information. Make sure you include the information as well, they can reach you back. For example, make sure to include your email. Don't forget to um, don't forget to put in your email in your resume, because that's the only way they will be able to reach you, because you are if you are not within Canada. And then once you get the offer letter, once they are agree to hire you as through NLPNP program, or through the PNP program only, Nova Scotia NB. If for example, if you're going for Nova Scotia, they'll be able to hire you. You'll be applying for NBPNP program, because that's NB is Nova Scotia, NS Nova Scotia, NLPNP. Okay. Once you get the offer letter from them, once you get the offer letter from them, then you have to apply for the provincial nominee certificate, so you can get the approval from your province. That is going to be the second step. Type in same thing, NLPNP. For example, I'm going to apply for the NL, one of those Atlantic provinces. First of them, NLPNP. Now, immigrating to Newfoundland and Labrador overview is given here. If you are the first time visitor here, make sure you pin that website, so you will be easily able to remember it. Or in case if you don't remember, you can reach the website easily. Okay. So it says apply online here. There's a lot of information given here. You can check as much as you want. They make sure to give you all the information you need to apply for the application. Even if you're not applying for the application, someone else is applying for the application. For example, you hired a representative, you can still check that online, that how long it's going to take, how long is the process, and what are the documents you need, what are the fees and all that, so you won't fall for anything fraud. Even if you're applying for through someone else, make sure you have all the information, so uh, you wouldn't be getting charged double of something. So first of them, NLP and NP job offers. We have already read about the job offers. NLP and the express entry. That is for the eligibility criteria. Let's read that too. Okay. The eligibility criteria for that one. Um, Save that. Eligible criteria for that: you must have a high skill job offer from an employer, score of 67 out of 10 out of 100, and here's the guide given for that. You can match, if you match the criteria of the point score too, you must have the 67 out of 100. Okay. Applicant must be accepted to Immigration Refuge Canada entry pool. You have to apply for the express entry pool to confirm the registration. Have an IRCC work permit, at least 4 months remaining. But that's not for us. Okay, how you can apply online. This is the right process here. Okay, this were those who are already residing in Canada, within Canada. They can easily apply for this one, because you wouldn't be able to get that many points. If you don't have a degree, if you don't have that much qualification, if you don't have that much funds according to the requirements, you cannot fill the requirements, so you won't be able to apply for it. It is better to be late than to getting refused. skilled worker. This is the one we were talking about, and apply to skilled worker online. How we could apply for that. I already have created my ID. You could go to the new PNP registration and you can register right here. I have already submitted my documents, application details. Okay. In this one, you have to submit your details. Uh, what is your information? What are you doing right now? Where you have traveled before, and your education, and what you have done. Make sure you have already gathered all the documents that are needed. Employment offer, all the certificate, all the offers letter from given from your employer will be get submitted right here. You have to submit your contract with the employer, which could be 2 years or could be 1 year. It should be 2 years to apply for the PNP. That's what it says on the website. You have to have the 2 year contract letter from your employer in order to apply for the PNP. And then you would have to submit the support letter, anything given from employer. Declaration of personal net worth. What's your earning? What you have as funds? What's your financial statement? What you have had for funds. Make sure you don't have anything transferred just within 3 months or 2 months from your. You haven't borrowed anything from someone else. You haven't get the money from as a gift from someone else. Make sure you have all the funds 6 months back set from the date you're applying for your application, and make sure to file your ITR, income tax. Travel documents and passport. Here you have to submit your documents, any document you have traveled with. For example, if you have went to Dubai before, you could submit that one here too. And passports, that says passport, not only one passport. So you could set any passports you have had before. Make sure you wouldn't hide anything because that would be misrepresentation. Identity and civil documents, your ID cards, your birth certificate, marriage certificate, all the certificates would go right here. Employment information, your employment information you have, and what you had been doing all these past years. They could ask you for any information you have done, anything you have done in last 10 years. For example, your address and your experience, your employer's name, and what are the reason to quit the job, and what was your pay scale, your experience letter from the employer, and as well as their contact address. So make sure even before you apply, you have all that gathered. Financial information, bank statements and ITRs, post-secondary information, what's your schooling, your education, your degree, your post-secondary education would go right here. Make sure you scan them with the scanner or you have a good quality camera to scan all these documents. Proof of language, which could be in CLB or could be IELTS. Police certificate, you have to apply. That is optional. You could submit that after you submit your application. That is necessary in um, work permit and your permanent residence application. You have to submit that right here too if you want to. But sometime your officer can ask that while your files under process. So make sure you apply that because it takes usually 2 months to get the application for the BCC. So make sure you apply for before 2 months. Generic application form. These are the forms: Schedule A form, family information form, which will be discussed in next video or in the next coming video. Provincial nominee, economic class, and supplementary information. Your travels, what your travel have been from the last 10 years or from the most recent years, which could be from your last 18 years. And document checklist. You have to check in whatever stuff already. And the final is submit PNP documents. You have to submit them right here. Okay. So that was the whole little process for PNP. It is not a big deal. You can apply that by yourself, but make sure you fill everything correctly and go by the documents, not by your mind. Okay, let's go back in where we were. Okay. So this was the one we had to apply. That's the one we read about. Okay, let's read the requirements again. A job should be full-time job offer. Should be from an NL employer if you're applying in NL. Qualification, training, skills, or credentials requirement for job. Job related requirements are waived. You could read that. And proof of funds as well. You should be 21 to 59 years old. You could be in between 21 to 59. And immigration citizenship IRCC work permit with at least 4 months. Intention and ability to stay in permanently in Newfoundland. Sufficient settlement funds. And IELTS if you are in refugee. One main requirement both the provinces and the Atlantic program is that you have a valid temporary resident status in Canada. If you are in Canada, that's the one for you. If you are not in Canada, you wouldn't have to worry about it. If the applicant have ownership stake in business, that is for the businesses. If you're not eligible for the skilled worker category, you could go for the study and you could have collected that 22 score. Yeah, if you think you're not eligible for this one, for this skilled worker category, you could go to Canada as a student. So you can get the student visa and apply as a student. After that, you study for 2 years, and then you will be able to apply for the under AIP program in NL. Or there's a lot of programs in each and every province, so you can easily go as a student. And fees in these provinces especially is not that much as compared to any other province of Canada. And these are the websites, helplines are given right here, and phone numbers. You can contact them if your files in process. If you're trying to submit your application and facing some issues, you can contact them. Please note, applicant may check the status of your application at any point by logging in the account. So if you have already made the account, you can check those applications. It usually takes 25 days, as it says right here. Day 1 to 3 for your applications to training. They're gonna check if everything's all the documents have already completed. If not, they're gonna send it back to you. Due diligence and assessment and final decision. Hmm. They don't take that much. They usually take only 25 business days. Okay, and there's all the explanation you might need. I'm going to show you that you can also check job matching right here too. Okay. We have already seen that before in this video. If you haven't checked that, you can go back and check that. Job bank, you could go to job bank, you can apply, you can find with the employers looking for work. Job matching right here. Okay, here's all the information given that applying through an employer would take. All the processes given right here. You could visit on the website, or you could email to jobmatching.nl.ca. Okay. There's the process given. So everything you might need, that is already given. And if you are eligible enough, you would be able to apply by yourself. You wouldn't have to go to or hire any consultant. And I'm going to show you the certificate I get after the PNP nomination. This is my support letter right here, work permit support letter, and my PNP nomination certificate right here. So this is how your certificate will look like. I am not able to show my name and my identity right here, but I can show you this how a certificate looks like. Okay, so and I'm gonna attach a video applying for work permit after you get the PNP nomination, or if you get the provincial nomination, you could apply for a work permit as well as your permanent residence. If you need another video, you can comment right here, and I'll be able to fill out the forms and might be able to show you how to fill out those forms. All right. Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Spark Education. And so today's topic is going to be that how you can apply for work permit online. For the work permit, if you're outside Canada, how you can apply by yourself. You don't have to go to the immigration consultant. You don't have to pay any fees or anything. How you can check what are the requirements, what are the documents you're gonna need, and how you can prepare them by watching just my video. So what I did, I just went to Google and typed in how to apply for work permit online outside Canada. If you're outside Canada, how you can apply for the work permit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the website which has canada.ca, www.canada.ca. The reason is I wouldn't go for any other websites because those are made by other immigration centers. Those will charge you and won't tell you the right way, or probably will charge you for just the right way. So make sure you have to go to canada.ca, which is the Canada government's website. It says Government of Canada. It is Government Canada's website. You go in and you can read about the process, what is the process, how long it takes, who can apply, and then I am going to be how to apply. This is today's video about. So it says how to apply. My first question is where you're residing, where you're applying from. I'm applying from outside Canada, as we said. And then I am not a postgraduate, and I am not a Ukrainian. So going to another type of worker. People who perform or support essential work. If you are going to work as an essential worker, you can check in. If you are essential worker, are you going to perform essential service? You can check in here. Right? I know what I'm going to type in. So I will go get the application to work in Canada. I went in and there I see apply online for work permit. First question is how are you applying? I am applying online. And then where are you applying from? Applying from India. Here is the instruction guide. So all you have to do is make sure you read the instruction carefully, read each and every question carefully, so it won't distract you, because there are so much information here on the website which will distract you, of course. Well, that which is okay. You should have the information before you apply for a visa, but make sure you don't get distracted from your path. And today's path is how what documents do I need to gather for my work visa. Alright, so it says what kind of documents do I need. Alright, let's start from here. What is work permit? It tells me what is the work permit is. Work permit is issued by an officer, allows a person who is not a citizen or permanent resident of Canada to work in Canada. Okay. All right, which we are not residing in country in Canada right now, but we need the work permit to work in there under employer who is currently in Canada. Employer could be outside Canada, but you can apply it in Canada because the company is situated in Canada, within Canada. Okay, let me find out. Alright, here we are. We were going to read about gather the documents. What documents do I need? Here's my checklist. You can read all this. You need the proof of identity, proof of your ID, which could be passport. I would go for passport because that's the only thing I have with the that's the travel document I have, and and then you're gonna need two photos. Make sure your photos are according to the visa specification giving on the Canada website, because it should be according to the specification which is given on the Canada website. Would you, if you get the another one, that could delay your application. And proof of employment in Canada, of course, your offer letter from your employer. Proof of relationship. What is the relationship? If you're married, if you are living relationship, if you are you having child or some, Then you may have to give your certificate, your birth certificate and all that, your marriage certificate, other documents you need. If you are not a citizen of the country, you must send a proof of your present immigration status in your country or Canada. For example, if I'm living in another country, not in India, then I would have to submit the documents. What is my status in another country? Do you plan to work in Quebec? Yeah, that one. If you're going to work under any employer in Quebec, that then you would require to submit a CAQ certificate to immigration officer. And translation of documents, if you have any document in another language, then you might have to submit the translation of document. Make sure you have to submit the notarization from an authorized person, because only translation is not enough. And make sure you don't do that yourself. You cannot do your translation by yourself, which will not be approved. Certified true copies you have to attach with that. Fill out the application. Here is our point. Application for work made outside of Canada, which is IMM 1295. Here's my checklist. Sorry. Okay, that was not the checklist. That was the document, one of those documents we need to gather before we apply. Okay, so this is one of the documents that you need for the checklist. So I'm going for the document checklist. Okay, this document will tell me about each and every document that I need for my visa application, especially the forms, and will explain me everything, what each and every document contains, what is in the document, so you can prepare yourself and your documents and your other funds and all that before you even apply for the visa. Funds, if we talk about funds, you should have the funds. If you have your family member, I will give you link in the description so you can check how much funds you need. If you have two family member, if you have three family member accompanying you within to going to Canada, then how much funds you need. I will make sure to attach the list or give the link in the description so you can check that online on Canada's website, or you can go to Canada website canada.ca and you can check it by yourself how much funds you need if you're applying for work permit outside Canada. You will find out that. Alright, so document checklist for work permit applying outside Canada. Uh, these documents you have to be very careful with them, because if you submit something else, if you submit some wrong information, it could be the case of misrepresentation, even you don't want it, and it could be end up delaying your application. Could take 6 months more than it's supposed to be, so make sure you're careful about it. This document checklist is one of those forms that you finally need to submit with your application. Consult the instruction guide IMM 5487 to find out if you're required to provide some or all forms and documents listed in the checklist. You can check that in IMM 5487 if you want. If your documents are in language that other than English, as we read before, you can check with the responsible visa officer of your reason whether they needed to be translated. If any of the required documents listed below are missing, the process of application could be delayed, as I said. Gather your document in order of the checklist and check each item. So this is the checklist. As soon as you get that done, one of those forms, you can check that in here. That's what this form is for. But you can read all the information here. Form list. First of all, we have the forms we need to fill in. Application for work permit made outside of Canada, IMM 1295. If this application form is completed on a computer, it must be validated to generate a barcode page. Print and place the barcode page on the top of your application. Alright, if you're applying as a group, each individual application package should be validated. So when you're going to fill out this form, you will get a validation code at the end. When you get to fill out each and every column of the form, you go to the end of the page, you click on the validate button, and then you will get a barcode. That barcode you need to place on the top of the document. On the top of your document, that means your all the information is correct according to the website. If you are filling something that is wrong, that might be wrong, that you misspelled it, or you might missed it, that you will not get your barcode. So that's the only reason you're not getting your barcode from that form. So make sure you filled your form correctly. And then here is family information form. Must be completed by those aged 18 or older than or minor traveling alone to Canada. Uh, this form need to fill out to each and everybody, I think, especially if you accompanying someone, if you're 18 years older, if you're a minor, or if you are traveling to Canada alone to Canada, especially, you need to fill out this form. This form will contain the information about your family. It will contain information about your mother, about their name, about their father name, and what's the occupation and all that. It's not a big form. It's not even a big deal. But make sure you fill out every information from the genuine documents. For example, you could go with the passport. If your passport says what's the given name, you have to fill out the given name same as it is on the passport. So it wouldn't be a difficulty after that. Statutory Declaration of Common Law Union IMM 5409. Refer to responsible visa officer for your reason. That one is only need to be filled out if you are living with someone. If you are in relationship with someone and are accompanying you to Canada, they're applying for Canada visa with you, or they want to come after you. So you can fill out this form so they can know about your partner, about the person with you who is coming to Canada. And use of a representative. You're using a representative to present your application in front of visa officer. You must fill out this form. You have to you have to sign this document as well as your consultant. Complete this form only if you are using the service of an authorized representative or if you are appointing or canceling a representative. So you have to fill up this form every time you hire a consultant or you are trying to cancel the application through them. Authority to release personal information to a designated individual IMM 5475. Complete this form only if you are authorized Immigration, Refugee Citizens Canada IRCC, and the Canada Border Service Agency CBSA to release information from your file case to someone else other than yourself. Uh, for I would say, in easy words, I would say, if I am trying to get my information to from someone else, for example, my spouse, I should fill out this form in order to get this information so my spouse can get that information. I had to let that know to IRCC and CBSA uh, that someone else is going to get my information. So I can give that authority to someone else other than me. Document list. So what documents I need? These were the forms. These were only few forms or 4 or 5 forms you will need if they apply to you. These are not compulsory if they apply to you. For example, if you're not in a relationship with someone else, if they are not accompanying you to Canada, you don't have to fill out this form. Use of a representative, you don't have them, you don't have to fill out that form. And if you are not giving your authority to release your information to someone else, even your spouse, your children, and kids, anyone, you don't have to fill out this form. Right. Document checklist or document list. Fees payment. If everything is done, your application is filled out, your forms especially are filled out. At the end, you will get a payment method that you can pay the fees to embassy, and then you will get a receipt and biometric fees. You have to pay $85 biometric fees, and then you have to pay the fees for the work permit visa. Then verify acceptable method of payment with the visa officer or VAC responsible for your reason, and then you can get your biometric appointment done. There are some applicants who are exempt from paying the work permit fee. If you are one of them, submit document proving. So you have to submit the document with that. Visa officer do not accept payment received from the Canadian banks. Photocopy of the information page of your valid information or travel document, which includes the passport number, issue and expiry, your photo, name, date, and birth of place. Alright, so these one usually contain the first page of the passport, last page of the passport, and as well as the pages, as it says in the note here. If you require a temporary resident visa, your work application is approved, you will need to provide your original passport for the visa to be issued. Yes, you will need to send your original passport to the visa center so you can get your visa stamped on the passport. But I was going to talk about if you travel to any other country rather than your own country, your citizenship country, then you might have to include the pages which contains the stamps traveling to other country. You have to contain that too in the PDF of the photocopy of the passport. You should contain them, I would say. Two photos meeting the requirements of the visa application, photograph specification. They have the special measurement given on the Canada website. You can check that online, or you can click on that link, or you can go to canada.ca, visa specification, photograph, and then you will get that specification right there. You have to, on the back photos, back of the two photos, you have to write name and birth of date of birth. If you are required to provide biometrics and BLC and photo, you are not required to include paper photos with your application. You don't have to include your paper photos with that if you are required to submit the BLC, the fingerprints or the biometrics fingerprints. And then our document list continues here. Proof of current immigration status. What is your status in your country you're applying from? What is your status in that country? You should include that proof. I would submit my passport in that, because that's the only thing says I am citizen of India, or says I am citizen. I'm not a citizen, or I am on the work permit or work visa. Photocopy of your marriage license. If you're married, you have to submit a photocopy of your marriage certificate. If you have the marriage certificate in any other language, then you can get that translated from an authorized person. You might have to attach the, uh, the notarized copy with that too, proving that that is true. Proof indicating you meet the requirements of the job being offered. If someone asks me why I am applying for the job, how am I being able to apply for the job, how I think I meet the requirements of that job, especially the one I'm applying for, I would go with the experiences I have from the other past jobs. I would include that, and any certificate I have, including my experience, my appreciation certificate, I would include that. And then here comes a copy of the LMI providing by Employment Social Development EST to your employer, or you could go if you are not a LMI based employee, or you didn't have the job offer from LMI, you should have the one exempt employment for foreign national exempt from LMI. That could be either IMM 5802 form or the offer of employment ID number. If your employer is exempt from the employer compliance reason, you must provide a copy of the employment contract. Yes, you should have the copy of the contract, because if you applying under employer, and you have all the information, you talk to them, you should talk to your employer about if you don't have the contract, because you might have to submit that with the application. You will have to include that in the application. And this one is LMI or LMI exempt or IMM 5802. These all forms you will get from the employer. So this is up to your employer. You might have to include LMI if you're LMI based employee. If you didn't get the LMI, your LMI exempt, or you can get the IMM 5802 from an employer, either the employment ID number. If working in Quebec, that's a different case. I'm not going for Quebec, so I wouldn't give preference to that much. But if you're going for Quebec employer, then you should talk to your employer about the CAQ and get that certificate to include with your application, submit with your application. If you are a provincial nominee, you have an offer of employment to acquire national NMI exempt or either IMM 5802 employment ID number from an employer in the province or territory that nominated you. Provide a copy of the nomination letter issued by the province or territory that nominates you. This is the nomination certificate. You get the endorsement done, which is the nomination certificate outside, and that one you include right here. Because before you even apply for the work permit, you have to apply for the provincial nomination. If you want me to, include that video on my page on my channel, I would make that video too. That what is the checklist and how you can fill out these forms, and I can explain how each and every form is filled. We can discuss that in the next video. If applying for a postgraduate work permit, submit the proof of the final transcript and letter from the institution. These ones are only for those who are studying in Canada, those who had studied in Canada and applying for work permit within the Canada. If I would have studied in Canada, I would go for this one. With this one, I would have to submit final transcript of from the college and a letter from the institution, formal notice of graduation saying that I'm graduated. You can submit a formal document. Any additional document required by the representative's office at the end, you have to submit any document that is required by your visa officer. They can ask for anything at any point, so make sure you check your emails regularly and your website, your login ID as well. This is all for today. If you want to make another video about all these forms, how to fill out this form, I can make that one too. But make sure you click on the subscribe channel. Make sure you like my video. And this, I'm sorry about the delay, but this is the 1295 IMM 1295 application for work permit made outside of Canada. Okay. First one, UCI if you have one, and which is not compulsory. The one have the stars on it. You see these one? These are the required one. These are need to be filled. Okay, I want service in English, so I want my service in English. My family name, I would say Nisha, and given name if I have one. If I don't, that's okay. So you see the red ones, you have to necessarily fill them out. Have you ever used another name? No, I have not. Have you ever given name? No. Okay. Email. Perfect. Date of birth. 8. Okay, I would say. Okay. City, town, Punjab. Country is India. Okay. Citizenship of India. And then country again. Current country of residence. Yeah. Status, I am citizen of India, and from to, that is not really necessary. You don't have to really necessarily fill that out. Previous country or territories. During the past 5 years, have you lived in any other country other than your country? I'm just gonna say no for this one because this is the only example. Country or territory where you're applying, same as the country of your residence, yes. Or if you are living in India, if you're applying from outside Canada, then you have to fill out this everything. Because if I say yes, I wouldn't have to fill it out. If it's not the same one, then I have to fill out everything again. India, my status, same again. I am citizen. Other from, if you are from birth, I would put in my date. 20, right? Till now, you don't have to really put that out because it won't say star on that. Your current marital status, date. If you're married to common law, provide date of your relationship. Okay, I'm just going to fill out this one form only, just to show you that how easy it is to apply online, and you can fill out your form by yourself too. You don't have to depend on the consultants, and you don't have to pay that much charges you are paying right now. And my spouse family name, I say I don't even matter. Give a name, don't have one. Okay. Okay. Have you previously been married in common law relationship? Yes. And I would have to fill that out. I. Okay. And date of birth of my spouse. Don't matter. Don't even matter. Type of relationship you are. Okay. I have to check in that. If you are just living in relationship or if you are married. From 2010, 22 till now, 2022, 20, and native language is was incorrect in 11th. Okay, yes, that one was incorrect right here. So this website, as you say, is so updated. Will let you know if you made a mistake. Native language is Punjabi. Punjabi. Okay. Are you able to communicate in English? Yes, sure. English. In which language are most eased? That is not necessary. Not going to fill it out. Have you taken a test from the designated testing agency? Yes, I did. Which was IELTS, my passport number. I might have to fill that out. I'm just going to put in some numbers just for now. Country or territory of issue, India. Right. Issue date 2019 20. I am just filling out the dates today just to show you that how to fill out a form and how you can validate and how you could know that this is right or not. So anytime you fill anything in these forms, make sure you match with your documents, especially the authorized one, especially passport. Make sure you fill everything right. These are not really difficult, but uh, let's say 23, 20. But you just have to be very careful with them. That's all. For travel, use passport. Yes. Oh no. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't have to fill that out. Do you have a national identity document? Yes, I do. Document number S3. Right. Don't even matter. Country of entry and issue. Okay. Should I? Are you a lawful resident of USA? I am a lawful resident, but not of US. So no. Okay. US citizen immigration serial number. If I'm a citizen, then I have to fill this information, my current mailing address, and all that. Only thing necessary is my street name. I'm just gonna fill out some random information. Okay, I will say city, uh, Punjab, city or territory, country or territory, India, and then state is Punjab. Okay, that is not necessary, so I won't worry about that. Residential address, same as mailing address. I say yes for now, and then if it is not, then I have to fill this all the information, telephone number and all that, country code. Make sure you fill out the country code. Do you see this little columns right here? Wait a second. Do you see these one right here? So make sure you check them into. Is that phone number is cellular or the residence or the business? Which one it is? So make sure you fill them out. If you wouldn't do that, you wouldn't be able to get the validation. Email address, my fax number, which is not compulsory. I'm not going to fill that out. Details, what type of work permit are you applying for? Skilled. Let's see. I was going to apply for the exemption one. I'm not applying for the LMI. I'm on the exemption one because I don't have the LMI. Name of employer. I'm going to type in some random company name. Complete address, which is compulsory. I'm going to say province, and we said it was NL. Okay. City and town. Uh, let's say St. John's. Address 12 Village, Place. My occupation in Canada will be job title. I say counter attendant. Brief description of duties. Um, Handling cash and all that. Duration of expectation from 2022, just a random date. But that one you have to make sure from the employer, but I'm going to just put in some random numbers right here. Definition to intend work in Canada. Okay, two. See. And that one will be given by your employer, so you have to fill out that number right there. Have you have any post-secondary education? I'm just gonna say no. They say the format is not right. So this is one of the examples that if you don't fill anything right, they're gonna point it out to you. Employment from and date. Okay, from the last 10 years. So you have to fill out all the information you have worked before. For example, you can start from the first one you had in the last 10 years. Including if you had any government position. If you were in any of those positions, you could fill that out too. From and then to, from to this right here, and current occupation, what was the company name, what was the city, which was the country and province and all that for all of them. If you cannot include all of them, if you cannot cover all of your information in one page, so you can add attach another page. You have another blank document like that, and you can just fill out the information whatever's left. And then here we come. Uh, you must complete the section if you're 18 years old or older. Within the past few years, have you have any family member have they any disease of lungs or close contact with the tuberculosis? Okay. Do you have any physical or mental disorder? No. If you answered yes, you have to give us the reason right here. You can explain them right here. But make sure you put the numbers as they say. If you answered yes to this one, first one, you put 1A. If you answered yes to B, then you put 1B. Have you ever remained beyond the validity of a status where you're not supposed to be? You can answer that right here, yes or no. Have you ever committed, been arrested or been charged? I have not, so no. Did you serve in a military? If you had been, if you answered yes, please provide date of service and countries and territory you been served. Are you have any family member with any political party? If you are, you could just say yes, which has been engaged in or advocate violence. If you have been, you cannot hide that from them, especially if you were in online data. So make sure you put that yes. Have you ever witnessed or participated in ill treatment? Have not. signature, so you have to sign that right there. You consent, you have to say yes. Signature of applicant, parents, or legal guardian. If you are not 18 years older, then you have to might have to get the signature of your guardian or your parents and date right here. And then you click. I'm gonna click on the validate. I have not filled out the whole form. I have not completed the information which I should have. That's why I cannot get that. See, it says me right here, you haven't filled out this. You must fill out this in order to get the validation code. So that was my fault. That's why I haven't get my code. But if you're gonna click on the validate, you will get a barcode right on at the end saying that all the information was right. And this form, when you're gonna fill that out, you're gonna save it right here, or you can just share it when it's gonna get done. You could just share it, and then you can upload that on the website. The second was IM 5476. The thing about this form is you have to download them first in order to reach them. Applying for work permit outside Canada, as we went in before. Then fill out the forms, family information. So that tells you right here that you're going to get a barcode just like this one right here. If you have any confusion in any of those forms, they have given each and every step here. You can read it out. And if you still have the problem, you can contact them online or by email. So make sure your emails are working because that's the most convenient part. They could reach out to you. Or if you were residing in any other country rather than Canada, then that's the only best way to reach out to you from them, from IRCC. Okay. Family information, that is the simplest, easiest form I have ever seen, so I'm not going to fill out that. Or if you want me to fill out that too, you could request me that one. Okay. The 15409 statutory declaration. If you are in a common relationship with someone else, you might have to fill out this one. Country, your province in matter of an application, refuse the act in matter of the common law union, we. So you and your partner of city town, you have to fill out the city and town, country, in name of the province, state. The state are you residing in the country, yeah, India. Solemnly declare that we have continued in the cultural relationship for that many years, and you just have to fill out this form. If you have life insurance, which names and common law partner. If you have any insurance policy, then you might fill that out. Be better for you. Okay, and then signature of yours and your partner, and notary publication if needed, and that's all. And your form will be done. And you don't need any validation code at the end. If there is no validate button, so you don't have to fill that out. You don't have to worry about the validation. Alright, go with the next one. The last one was 5487. Use of a representative. That one, your representative should help you with that. If you're using a representative, that one I'm going to show you right here. I am appointing a representative, or if you are canceling a representative, you could check in one of those. If you are canceling a representative, you still have to inform to the IRCC that you're canceling the representative. you're not taking their services anymore. Your full name, your given name, date of birth, as same as you have filled it out in the application or in any other forms. UCI if you have one. If no, if you don't have one, that's just optional. You don't have to worry about it. Appointment of representative. Make sure read all of them. That you aware of the steps that's been taken from you. Your representative's full name. Um, is a compensated and is a friend or who he is or she is, and then their membership ID and all that contact information from them, and then at the end your declaration that you have cancelled or appoint them. So your signature, your date right here, and if you have spouse, their signature and their date right here, and that's it. So this form mostly contains the information of your representative, of your consultant. Okay. And then the last form, which was the authority to release personal information to someone else on your behalf by IRCC. If you want someone else to get your information other than you, then you have to fill out this form here. Okay, open it. 5475. Authority to release personal information to a designated individual, to someone special, to a special person, from IRCC, from the Citizenship of Canada, and Canada Border Service Agency, CBSA. If your spouse, common law partner, wishes to release information to the same designated individual, they should sign in the space provided. Your dependent children who are 18 years older or older must complete their own copy of this form if they wish to authorize CISCBC to release information to a designated individual. Yes, if your child wants to, if your dependent children, they are dependent and they want to release the information, they must have fill out this form too. The individual you designate will be able to obtain information such as status of application and will be able to change your address if you move. However, you will not be a representative who can conduct business with CIC and CBSA on your behalf if you're not a representative. If you wish to be represented, you must complete the submitted form use of a representative. Yeah, as we said before. Choose one of those. If I authorize them to release information, if I wish to withdraw my authorization to release information to someone else, we don't want anymore your information to get released to someone else, reach someone else. You have to fill out this form too to inform IRCC. And their name, full name, date of birth, if you have already submitted your application, name of the officer, where the application was submitted, location of the officers, and type of application. If you don't really know about these are not really required because they don't have the stars, the little star on them, as well as we don't have to validate this form at the end. So you have to fill out the information as much as you know. The part you don't know, that's not necessary. Your designated individual's full name, the person you want to withdraw from the application or want to add in the application to get the knowledge, to get the authorization. Your designated individual's contact information, their information where they're living, their address and everything. And your declaration that you understand the statement, you authorize them to withdraw or add in, and you give the consent signature of yours and your date, signature of your spouse if applicable if they are, and then the date. Right, and that's it. That's all for this form. And I think that was everything for this application too. Okay. And here is everything given, what is called UCI. In the first section of every form you will need to submit your UCI. If you don't have one, it is explained here that how you can get your UCI number. If you don't have one, that would not be a necessary one. or you might have filled something else that's not supposed to be. Okay, so this whole information here about your forms, how to fill out these forms, and this third step, pay the fees. You have to pay the fees online. Make sure you include the receipt of the fees with your application. While submitting your application, you have to include the fees receipt with that. An application processing fee, open work permit holder fee, or a biometric fee. So three fees altogether. And the table is given below. 465 for work permit for three people, work permit for one person 155, and it depends, vary person to person. Fee can change at any time. So $100 for open work permit holder if you already have one. And biometric fees $85, biometric for two family members 170 of course, and three people 255. Make sure you are eligible for the service you're requesting before you pay the fees, because it could be non-refundable. How to pay the fees online. So if you have already filled out your application and all the forms, and you cannot find the link how to pay the fees, you could go right here, go to the online payment, and then you'll be able to get your fee receipt done. You might have to wait some time, because usually takes some time after you pay the fee. Sometimes it takes a day or some, because of the time difference. So don't get nervous, don't get panic. And payment issues, if you overpaid, we will start processing your application and send you a refund. You do not need to have to ask for a refund, it will be done automatically. Submit the application, and then with the application checklist, with the document checklist, submit the application. What you have to include at the end, again we're going to read it again. Once you submit the application, we will check to make sure that you have properly completed, submitted all the forms, you have paid the application fee, you have sent all requested supporting documents. So you have to make sure that too, because if not, your application will be returned or will be cancelled or will be withdrawn, if, and your fees will not be refunded back, because your application process has already been started. So make sure before you submit that, you have someone else to help you with that, or you're eligible enough to help yourself with that. If your application package is complete, we will is not is incomplete, we will return it to you. We will not create a file, and we will not give a record until you have submitted a complete application. To avoid processing delays, pay your biometric fees at the same time as application fee using the same method of the payment. We will give you the link how to pay the fees. And once you get all things done, once you get a visa approval done, then you can start the process of arriving in Canada. And as I always say, you have all the information here, even after every step. What can you do to help process it? There are certain things you can help to make sure your application process as fast as possible. Submit all the documents, pay your application fee, provide your biometrics as soon as possible. If required, tell us your contact information if changed. If you move somewhere else, if you change your mailing address, your phone number, your face, affix, or email address, you might have to update that on the website, or you can let your representative know to update that on the website. Things that delay process, unclear photocopies, verification of your information and document, a medical condition that may need test or consultation. If you have any problem in the medical, that could delay your application sometime, but that don't mean it's going to end up refused. It could take some longer than the usual, but you can still get your results. A criminal or security problem, if you have one, consultation is needed with other officers in Canada and abroad. Current processing times, you can check that on the website. And protecting your information according to Privacy Act, IRCC and CBSA employees always protecting your information will not be disclosed to anyone else except as permitted under the provision of Privacy Act. If you have filled any information, any web forms, rather than they would not disclose your information to someone else. Quality assurance program. If you need help, you can contact them on help center, And then here is permanent residence visa application for the customer. And that is all.